And she calls, she goes, hey, sorry. I was like, I don't even know what she was doing, cleaning the house for the 30th time. She was like, what happened? I go, I just had TKA, every member of TKA in the phone, waiting to say hello to you and thank you for your support. And you did not pick up the phone. And I was like, damn it.
That sounds like the most mom thing ever.
Hey, Anthony, where'd you get this podcasting stuff from?
It fell off the back of a truck. We're back on the Breaking Bread podcast. I'm here with my co-host, Sal the Voice.
How you doing?
And we have a very special guest, Lil Dee Raps. What's up, brother?
Everybody? Good to be here.
Yeah,
Glad you guys have me up.
How was your ride up from Coney Island?
Not bad.
Not bad?
Yeah.
Wow.
Really not bad.
When is it ever not bad?
A lot of times.
You know what the Belt Parkway stands for in my book, Danny?
What?
Better expect lots of traffic. That's the Belt Parkway.
That's funny.
Yeah, man.
No, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming out, though. I know it's a long way. You know, Queens is out of the way. I feel like the bulk of the people are in Brooklyn.
Yeah, you know,
Almost everybody.
My wife and I were driving to Brooklyn the other night, and we looked it up, like, what's the population difference between Long Island, where we live, and Brooklyn?
Yeah.
Because it's a much smaller area. And obviously Long Island has a lot more people. But Brooklyn, it's all packed into one small area. They say that Brooklyn could branch off of New York City and become its own city. What do you think about that?
No,
Brooklyn seceding from the 5 boroughs.
I could see that.
Yeah?
I can see that.
What do you think of Brooklyn seceding from the Union?
I don't know, man. If 5 boroughs, stick together. People hate on Staten Island. I got love for Staten Island. I got love for the 5 boroughs and Long Island.
You think Brooklyn and Manhattan could still carry on a long-term relationship after all this cultural difference?
I don't know, man. It's definitely different. I mean, I guess downtown Brooklyn and Manhattan are very similar, but South Brooklyn, where I'm from, is like a world apart from Manhattan and...
Totally different vibes, man. Totally different vibes.
I mean, when you look up things to do in Brooklyn or whatever, it's going to show you everything at the very top of Brooklyn. But
Williamsburg.
We were kind of talking about it where it's not really the same, but it all looks the same.
Right.
And it kind of
the land that time forgot.
Exactly. Like there's not a lot as far as looks go that's different.
A lot of brownstones, a lot of brick houses.
It's always going to be. I mean, my Nonna's block looks the same that it always did.
Yeah, man.
My street looks the same that it always did. Coney Island, with the exception of a few rides changing up, it's still Coney Island. Still got Nathan's, still got the Wonder Wheel and the Cyclone. So, it's all the same.
Yeah, it's style that still holds up.
Yeah.
This might sound like a stupid question, but have you been on those rides?
Of course.
Have you been on all those rides?
Have you?
No.
You haven't?
Really?
None of them.
Bro, I grew up 3 hours away in Nassau County, and I've been on all those rides.
You gotta. What do you not like rides or?
I don't like rides, but I don't know. There's just something about it. Yeah, I do.
Really?
There's just something about it that, like, I feel like I'm gonna fall out of it. I don't know why.
Nah.
And then, of course, as I'm late scrolling last night, I saw like a video from like maybe it was 20 years ago about some lady that got ejected from a roller coaster.
Oh, it happens all the time.
Today. Yeah,
I've seen that video.
That's why you go to Disney, you go to Universal, you go to Coney Island, you go to Adventureland. You don't go to some.
Yeah, you don't go to the little.
You don't go to some boof park that's been set up in the parking lot of an Arby's in Ohio.
Yeah,
yesterday.
Right. Nah, it's when you go to like a main staple amusement park, there's really nothing to worry about. It's like it's the feasts you got to worry about sometimes. You ever see a video of they had the feast somewhere and like the ride was shaking back and forth and the people.
I saw that. That was sick.
You saw that?
That was scary.
That was
scary.
That's the shit you got to worry about.
That was really nice of those people. My ass would have been out. That was really nice of those people.
No, I've been on the rides. I love the rides. I'm fortunate enough to have grown up across the street from it because as a kid, I guess I was never afraid of rides. You always have those friends that are afraid of rides. I mean,
because I am that friend.
Yeah. But I always liked it. It was always fun. I still have fun on the rides. If I'm in Coney Island, I'm not doing anything on a summer day and the Cyclone's open, I'm driving by, I'll jump out the car and just go jump on.
Just for shits and gigs.
Yeah. What? My dad went on. What'd you go on the Cyclone like 100 times in a row one time? Right? Yeah.
100 times in a row?
Yeah. It was running backwards, so he was.
You got balls, bro. I don't want to go on it forward.
You went 100 times in reverse. Wow.
Is that like a world record?
I know a lot of people can't sit on the Long Island Railroad sitting backwards.
Back in the day when Pop was like $7, pay one price.
Yeah. Nah, he went on. I never did that, but I always liked the rides, man. Coney Island. You know.
Yeah. Speaking of style that's timeless, I really love the way you rap.
Thank you, bro.
Because
100%.
no matter how quick you're moving through a verse, I can hear every word. You know, and it really you talk about a lot of heavy stuff. You talk about a lot of stuff that's going on, you know, as far as being the underdog, being underappreciated.
Yep.
You know, I hear that a lot.
That's my whole life. You know, that's what it's always been. Because growing up, I always say this, like, when my parents took me to the doctor to see what was up with my ADHD, the woman who evaluated me said that I had the worst ADHD in her 40 years of experience. Like, I was very hyperactive. I was a colic baby. I didn't really get along with, you know, my classmates or whatever growing up. I spent a lot of time growing up by myself, and I was never involved in sports or anything, so I never had that sense of a team. So when I found rap music, that was the thing that I was always looking for my entire life. I had loved listening to rap music my entire life, but when I started to actually write it, it became a form of therapy for me. And it went from people not liking me because I was so hyperactive and they just couldn't be around me, to people not liking me because they were doubting my dream, to people not liking me because I was accomplishing my dreams and they were starting to get jealous, you know? So I've that's always been my entire theme of my life, like the underdog, the person that they don't believe in, that is constantly proving them wrong. And still to this day, like, I can only imagine how people feel that were growing up and hating on my dream and telling
Is that what No Home is about?
Yeah. That first the first verse of No Home is kind of all about, both in my social life and in the industry, how people would constantly tell me I would never make it. I mean, I told you guys before we started filming that when I was a little younger, maybe around 13, 14 years old, I went up to Atlantic Records to kind of play them my music and see what was up. And I was nowhere near as popular as I am now, I would say, but the talent was definitely there. And they were like, listen, in the 90s, we would keep you here and not let you go until you signed the deal. But now you need like 500,000 followers just to...
How old are you when you walk into Atlantic Records?
I had to be 13.
Wow.
Yeah, so I told them, listen, and I said this as a 13-year-old. When I have 500,000 followers, I'm not going to need you guys.
I love that.
I go, you guys have the opportunity, and they don't really do this anymore in the music industry, but I was like, you have the opportunity right now to look at this artist who is putting out music and hard work consistently, grinding, honing his craft, and has talent, and you can build him to be something special because he has the talent and the work ethic. But it's not about the talent anymore. So that's the unfortunate part. But the good part is social media was always that thing for me that the labels never provided.
Yeah.
I was able to make a name for myself. I'm not one of these people who got here from any sort of nepotism. Like, my dad wasn't in the industry. I never had an uncle in the industry or had a label or had a friend. Like, I completely
But your dad's been incredibly supportive.
Yeah, definitely very supportive.
Yeah.
I mean, we started this thing out without a single connection in this game. And
I love that.
I've built is 100% organic from me outside, networking, pushing forward, staying consistent. And I kind of just always want to remind people in my music that if you stay consistent, you follow your dream, and you have it in you to really go for it, then nobody, not your classmates or your coworkers or your friends or your enemies or your family, nobody's ever going to be able to make you stop, because you're going to be on that path to success no matter what. You have to have that mentality.
How old are you when you start pouring yourself into rap music? As far as, I don't want to say how old are you when you're listening to it, because obviously for your father to recognize that sort of talent so young and double down on it and start making road trips to put you in front of the right people, you had to have been listening to it for your whole life.
Whole life.
When do you start writing? How old are you? Because it's got to be long before we meet you at 12 years old.
I started writing raps when I was 10 years old. It was like a hobby for me at the time. Around when I turned 11, that's when I started taking it a little more serious. And then by the time I turned 12, See, that cipher you were talking to me about earlier, the one where I'm in the Allen Iverson jersey in Philadelphia with the glasses.
Iconic.
I was 11 and I came in and everybody was all excited like, oh, this little 11-year-old kid just bodied this. But the year after, when I was 12 and I went back up there for this next cipher, it was a different vibe because that first time I was just going to do my thing, but the second time I had a very different frame of mind. I had the frame of mind where I'm like, okay, these guys all think I'm this cute kid that raps and whatever, but I'm about to go up here now that I'm taking it serious and show these people that not only am I here to stay, but I'm about to try and body everybody in this room.
No, there
I
was,
love that
there was
attitude,
nothing
bro.
cute about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, that second time
Yeah.
there was nothing. I even came in with a shirt that's like, it had all my favorite rappers' names and it had my name at the top. And people were like, yo, like this kid is about to come in and drop some craziness. I dropped 64 bars, I think. The longest rap I had done at the time. And there was a very different reaction after I stopped rapping. And that right there was the moment that I knew this is something that I can take serious because I just made a room full of grown men who last time were cheering for the cute kid, kind of shaking their boots like, yo, this kid is really rapping. Like, this kid's going to be a problem.
Who would you say are some of your favorite artists?
I mean, I was very inspired by Big L. That's somebody I always give credit to. I'll give it to Big L, Big Pun. Nas was very big for me. Biggie Smalls, I basically learned how to flow correctly from his music. I'll give it to Jay-Z as well. J. Cole is another one that was very big. Wu-Tang, Mobb Deep. Eminem has always been one of my favorite rappers, but I don't necessarily think Eminem influenced the way that I rap. I think it influenced the storytelling of how I can kind of rap on a more sad record and tell a story. But even that, I might have to accredit more to Nas. I'm a very big Eminem fan, but I don't think Eminem necessarily was a giant influence in the way that I rap. But you know who was, and I never say this, and people kind of like get weird about when I say this, but Kanye and Drake were also very, very big in my process of learning how to rap. Because even though, you know, you have the rumors of like the ghostwriting for the both of them, and people kind of try and discredit it that they're less hip hop and more artists, especially on the Drake side. I've always been a big fan of music altogether. I grew up not only on rap, but R&B, soul music, all different types of rock music, EDM, house. I love basically any type of music. And the way that the two of them would kind of combine elements of that with rapping, even though I mean, I can't really say this for Kanye. I could say it more about Drake, but some people say it about Kanye, that in recent years, they're less of rappers and more artists. I like to take that element of being an artist into making my music because it's music at the end of the day.
Yeah,
and I
it is
want
an
there
art.
to be elements of music.
Add more
I
musicality
think
to
that
it.
both of them did that very well
Yeah.
in their own respective way.
Well, definitely blending it, and you talk about like, you know, yeah, sure. There's talk of ghostwriters involved.
Yeah.
But there's a way of, you still have to interpret it.
Yeah.
You know, you still have to tell the story. You know, you talk about Eminem having an influence over storytelling because of the way, you know, yes, Eminem is fast and everything, and that's why people might draw some parallels. But I also think that it's really important that a story is told sometimes throughout a verse. You know?
You're right.
Is it messed up that that I only knew who like 3 of those rappers were that you said?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is messed
Is
up.
it messed up?
Who did you not know?
Who'd you not know?
I knew Jay-Z, obviously. I knew Kanye. I know Drake. I know
Tell me
Eminem.
you don't know Big Pun.
I know Biggie
That's
Smalls.
more than 3, Anthony.
All right, but no, but he started to expand then.
What, Mobb Deep, Wu-Tang Clan?
Big
Wu-Tang,
Pun?
I know.
I don't
No,
know Mobb
Big
Deep.
Pun? Big L?
I've
Well, not Big L, I
heard of
can
Nas.
understand him not knowing.
I heard of Nas.
I heard of Nas.
Zero.
I heard of Nas.
Your dad's face is
Heard of
priceless
Nas.
right now. Your dad's face is priceless. I wish we could zoom.
Yeah, I heard we're getting a Wegmans.
Yeah.
So not even just your influence,
Yeah.
the way you perform and the melodic sense of your ability to actually pronounce the words in such a way. Everyone loves the mumble rappers. I love Tech Nine and Logic, how they're able to speak that fast or rap that fast and still produce enough where you understand them, but you also do that in a sense where like you're almost telling a story that fast. Like how are you able to do that?
That's the thing that I feel like is missing from the fast rap. It's a very big and amazing talent that shouldn't be overlooked to be able to rap that fast. What Tech Nine does and what Logic does when they rap really fast cannot be replicated, and it can also not be discredited as like corny, because I know a lot of people say that, but it takes a lot of time and effort and practice to be able to rap that fast. And I also have to give it to my guy, R.A. the Rugged Man, who is a good friend of mine who can rap just as fast or probably faster than a lot of these guys. But the thing with him that influenced me more than Logic or Tech Nine or Eminem is that when he was rapping fast, you could always and forever know exactly what he's saying. He has multiple songs where he's going crazy fast, but you can still pinpoint exactly what he's saying. And in my new song, Walk Through the Rain, that I released this year, I have a part at the end where I go really fast, but I want to try and, instead of just going fast to go fast, I'm trying to hammer in a bunch of key words and points and phrases of what my point of the song was within that. And I think that's important. I don't rap fast for no reason.
I love that,
like
by the way.
some people do. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. I think that, listen, Twista,
You could tell the message.
Yeah.
Tech Nine is
Yeah.
amazing. Busta does it phenomenally. Logic, M, all of them, they really can. They're amazing at what they do in that part of hip hop. But when I do it, I want to do it for a purpose, and I think that that's kind of what sets it aside from the other people that do it.
That's what I really like the most, is because as someone who's not I like rap. It's not at the top of my list. I'm just being honest. But when I hear your music, I understand it.
Yeah.
Like, I get into the words. It seems to me like you're trying to tell me something more than a lot of the other guys that you were like. I actually want to listen to what you have to say.
Especially Walk Through the Rain.
Yeah.
You could tell the message is very, very important on that one.
That's probably my favorite song that I made this year. One of my favorite songs I ever made altogether, because I got a lot off my chest, I would have to say, that I want to, like, I'm changing my name to Danny James in the new year, so it's not going to be Lil Dee.
Danny
for
James?
much longer. Yeah, Danny James.
Danny James.
As I said, I've said this a lot, but I was Lil Dee when I was a little kid, and everybody, saw me doing those freestyles on Instagram. But as my music develops and as I develop as a man and as a human being and as I grow up, I just feel that my music and my bars and the things that I'm saying are so different than what I was doing at the beginning. But in a way, it's more like that than ever, because I started it as a form of therapy. Then it became a thing where I'm trying to prove that I'm the best rapper and I'm going to say the craziest stuff and drop the best bars and punchlines. But now I'm in a place where I want to talk about something. I want people to be able to relate to my music. I want somebody who's going through feeling like they're the underdog, feeling like nobody believes in them, going through depression, anxiety, suicidal thoughts, or problems with their family, or problems with their girlfriend, or went through a breakup, went through their friends flipping on them and becoming snakes, all these things, experiencing death in the family or of a loved one. All these things is what I always wanted to talk about. And now that I'm where I am, in the place that I am, when I make the name change, that's what I want to be doing for the most part. So Walk Through the Rain was a really good introduction, I would say, to the lane that I'm going to be going down once I change my name.
I love the way you said that. Like, I love the way that you phrased it. And honestly, I don't know how you're going to make the announcement, but I think you should say what you just said.
Yeah.
I'm
Definitely.
like dead serious. Like, I think it's really cool. I think it's like I'm picturing like a phoenix like rising again. Like, I know it sounds really, really, really kind of cliche.
I get exactly what
but
you're
like,
saying.
It's a good kind of cliche.
Yeah.
Now he's ready to share a more personal message. Not a resurgence. No, definitely not. You haven't been able to avoid Danny for the last, 8-9 years of his life. And I think that's kind of the genesis of Danny James
Yeah.
is you were Lil Dee when, like you said, when you were a kid and it was novel seeing a 11-year-old, a 12-year-old do what you were doing.
Yeah.
But then it wasn't immediately after that. It wasn't like watching a dog meow. It was this guy this guy's the fucking best. And you said, all right, now I'm setting out to prove that I'm the best. And now you have nothing more to prove.
Exactly.
Enough with this new kid on the block.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Exactly.
I'm here.
And when that Nems freestyle drops, for those of you who, I mean, I don't know when you guys are dropping this, it might be out, it might not be out, but probably around top of January or whatever, I went up to Nems's new Disrespect radio show on Shade 45, and I dropped a 6-minute freestyle up there. It should be dropping top of January 2025.
Yeah.
And that will probably be the last defining moment where I have anything to really prove on the mic, because that's going to really show people. I mean,
I don't think you got anything to prove, man. You're there.
like it's
Yeah.
gonna
You're there.
really, people are gonna trip when they hear that. Yeah. So my big thing is that when I drop my first album, I want it to be mentioned in the same breath as Illmatic and Ready to Die and all the classic, like, legendary debut hip hop albums. I want it to be a moment where people can say this person's first real body of work album can be mentioned in that breath. Like, I've always been a giant fan of albums that I can listen to front to back, and there's not a lot of them that withstand the test of time. But like Kanye, this is why I always said Kanye was a big influence. My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is probably my favorite album ever made. And I've always listened to that album front to back and said to myself every time I listen to it, until I know I can make that, and I have the resources to make that, and I have the listeners to receive that,
Yeah.
then I don't want to do it. I'll drop EPs
like that.
to the sky.
Calculated.
I'll drop as many singles as I possibly
You
can. I'll
mentioned,
feature
yeah.
on everybody's shit. But, you know, that time will come when I finally have those resources and those listeners.
You-
And that's when the debut album will come.
Wait, so fill me in here. Like, again, I'm gonna play dumb because you gotta educate me. Who sang? You lost me.
All right,
My
hold on.
Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
It's Kanye West.
Kanye West. All right,
Kanye.
that I gathered. Yeah,
That's
context clues.
That's yeah.
Ready to
everybody on-
Die is the Notorious
Biggie.
B.I.G.
Of course.
Illmatic is
Okay.
Nas's first album.
Yeah, man.
Basically, genuinely has been pronounced by the general public as the best hip hop.
Bro, my whole career.
And I would agree with it, to be honest. Like, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is my favorite,
Yeah.
but Illmatic is like the best in my opinion.
You talked about, appreciating guys like Kanye and Drake for the musicality. And most of those records are really front to back. It's one thing, you play one track after the next. You could listen to it for over an hour and sit there and experience the whole record. And one thing is into the next. Is that something you're looking to do with
Exactly,
your debut?
That's 100% what I want to do. I want it to feel like these songs belong together. I want to feel like everything has a special message, and I want it to also be amazing music. Like, I listened to My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. I listened to 2014 Forest Hills Drive by J. Cole. And you know what? Ready to Die, as I said, Illmatic, as I said, 36 Chambers by Wu-Tang, Eminem Recovery, which is kind of an unpopular opinion. Everybody says his early stuff was like their favorite. I love his early stuff. It's probably my favorite, but that album was kind of the one that hit me the most, because you had No Love with Lil Wayne, where he's kind of talking about what I talk about, like being the underdog and getting back up when they kick you down. He had Spacebound about his ex-wife. He had Love the Way You Lie. And then he had songs that were like posse cuts with Slaughterhouse and other songs where he was just showing how great of a rapper he is while still staying in that one theme. And it's not even like a theme that you can explain with words. It sounds like a theme.
Right.
It always sounds crazy, but that's how I interact with music. I want my project to sound like a theme.
Like a score.
Yeah, exactly. Good Kid, Mad City by Kendrick Lamar, it sounds like a theme. 2014 Forest Hills Drive by J. Cole,
That's
it
my
sounds
favorite
like,
album.
listen, that's That's probably, if it's not in my top 5, it's in my top like 7.
St. John's represent.
I love J. Cole. That's one of my favorite rappers, and that project with Wet Dreams and
Yeah, man.
and College Dropout by Kanye.
Yeah.
Like
That
all these.
summer that those dropped out, it's engraved in my brain.
The crazy
How did it
thing is-
influence your rap career, Greg?
We need to have you do like a movie soundtrack. Like that'd be like perfect for you.
So
Yeah, that's another
great.
thing. You know what? That's another dream of mine. Cause you know how Bee Gees did
Saturday Night
Night Fever.
That's exactly what I thought of, by the way.
That's always been something that I really wanted to do. That's my favorite Bee Gees album, and it's not even a Bee Gees album, kinda. You
See,
know what
now
I mean?
you're talking my
Ask
language. a
Anthony
little
about the '70s, like he
Yeah.
knows everything.
No,
I knew
know, I'm just
recovery.
saying,
I knew recovery.
I'm a
I knew
huge-
recovery. I knew everything you said.
I'm a huge Bee Gees fan. Like
Well, if you
I
lo-
love them so much, and the fact that they had their whole career and they were like rock gods, and then they were about to kind of retire, and then Barry Gibb found that falsetto, and it set them into a whole different lane, and they
Oh,
did
yeah.
Saturday Night Fever, and just killed it. Like that's something I want to do too for a movie. I want a really great. And they're very rare nowadays, like a really great movie that's not a sequel of any kind to
It is
come
rare.
out and be a staple in today's like pop culture. But I hope that one day I can do a whole soundtrack for a movie and make it flow with the movie.
Jeez, you got
Oh, you will.
do you
bro.
do you
You
do you,
will.
do you produce your own beats or?
I've been working on it. I have a song out right now called Dear God on my project Escape from Coney Island. That beat is completely produced by me. I've been working on producing. I'm probably going to start selling my beats first and trying to get them out to other rappers. And then I will probably start producing my stuff on a more mainstream level. But I'm sure once in a while, the same way that the Dear God song happened, a song of mine that I produced, that I rap on will slip through the cracks. But I'm working on that for sure. That's something I'm working
With
on.
recent movies, what did you think with Kendrick Lamar and Black Panther?
Yeah, that was great. Yeah. I mean, listen, Black Panther was one of my favorite Marvel movies that kind of came out towards the end of the that whole the phase. Like
Yeah.
Speaking of a voice for New York, how was it working on? I know we're kind of hopping around as far as the timeline goes, but that track you did for the Knicks,
Oh, it's been great. I
Sick,
mean,
by the way.
it's I
Sick. That was
appreciate
that
it.
was
It's been
unbelievable.
amazing.
the Mecca.
I have been a Knicks fan my whole life. My dad is a Knicks fan his entire life, and my grandfather was a Knicks fan his entire life. So the fact that I just remember the defining moment where I wasn't around for Patrick Ewing or anything, and I was like kind of around for Melo, but I was very young. I was still
Right.
a little kid.
Very
And
young.
As I said, I was never really like big on sports really, but I was always a Knicks fan above all else. When you had Brunson and Randall and OG had just come onto the team, and it kind of felt like the culture of the New York Knicks was something that it hadn't been even since before I was born, and it impacted me in a way that sports never impacted me. So I decided I was going to write a rap about it. I wrote a rap name dropping everybody on the team at that time, and it went crazy. They played it on Bart and Hahn on ESPN. They played it. Allen Houston, me and him have built a really nice friendship, all because of that video. Mitchell Robinson followed me. Josh Hart saw one of the raps that I did with them. I got to meet Walt Frazier and Patrick Ewing and Latrell Sprewell. Me and Stephon Marbury have definitely gotten closer since. We've been really cool for a long time, but ever since that happened, we got a lot closer. Me and Allen Houston have forged an amazing friendship that I'm very happy to have. And above all else, the fact that I've been able to watch these Knicks games, and especially recently with when I went with Steph to go courtside, it's definitely a dream come true. I mean, I remember, they had me do the commercial. I was on my way to Long Island one day, and I got a phone call. I pick up, I'm like, who is this? And they go, it's Wes. I was like, Wes who? He goes, Worldwide Wes. I was like, what? He's like, yo, where are you right now? I said, oh, I'm driving to Long Island. He said, turn around, come to the Garden. Came to the Garden. Like at halftime, I went in the suite to meet with Wes and Allen Houston. and Leon Rose was there for like a couple minutes. And we just talked, and, you know, MSG Networks had me do the commercial, and that plays pretty much throughout mostly all the games so far this season, which has been awesome. And I got to do some work with the social media. Still working with the social media. Probably going to see what we can make happen maybe for like the All-Star break or something. And I have so many ideas, and, you know, I'm just happy that they're letting me unleash my ideas to these Knicks fans that already I feel like I'm kind of in a community with after I did that rap. But the best part about it is I remember the game where Kristaps Porzingis got hurt, and me and my dad went to see the game, and we were all the way up, you know, watching the game. And I remember I was rapping for a few years, and I told him, listen, one day, the raps that I'm doing, that's going to get me right there courtside with everybody.
Your dad believed you.
It was definitely an amazing moment. Shout out to Stephon Marbury for always showing me love. I mean, being from Coney Island, he's shown me love since I'm a freshman in high school. But, you know, he's really a great guy. He's the type of guy where everybody went back to the suite to mingle and network, and he was out on the court showing love to the fans, taking pictures with the fans, giving kids his sunglasses and everything. He's really a stand-up guy. Allen Houston, amazing guy, and everybody that I've worked with from the Knicks so far, from the social media to MSG Networks for the commercial, everybody's been so amazing and, you know, very supportive. And it's a dream come true at the end of the day.
I am really not going to lie to you, man. When I saw that picture of you courtside, I was like, this kid is like, you know, all the other famous artists that you see courtside. Like, I kind of pictured it in my head. And I shouldn't say kid because you're not a kid. You're like a man. But you kind of know what I'm saying. But I just pictured it, man.
How are you 20? Because you hold yourself very well.
Yeah, he's been a man. He's been a man for the last 6 years.
I was gonna say
I was performing in clubs at like 13. They used to have to sneak me in the back. My first show that I was ever supposed to have, I was supposed to open up for. Well, who was it? Like George Lamont and Judy Torres? Yeah.
That's
like,
wow.
That's really cool.
Okay,
Was that the Coney Island Amphitheater?
No, I tell you, it was at Headliners in New Jersey.
Wow.
I drove in a snowstorm all the way out there to open up for
Oh, your father let you drive.
No. I came with my dad and my mom, my whole family, like all there. I don't even think I really had an Instagram page up and running yet, and this was going to be my first show.
Yeah, you shouldn't have. You were 13 years old.
But I went. They had me in the back, and then I just see like my dad like yelling at some guy in the crowd. I'm like, what's going on? And he was like, yo, they trying to kick us out because they saying you're too young. I was like,
Oh,
for real?
good for him.
My first show I ever was supposed to have, they threw us out. We had to drive back home in a snowstorm. I didn't even get to perform. Yeah, 70 people.
Hold on.
It was crazy.
Greg, turn that mic towards Dad over there.
We had like 70 people that came to see him, and like Jersey law, he was too young, and they wouldn't even let him just perform.
That's like
That's the state liquor, the Jersey State Liquor Authority. Yeah.
And he made the classic. You know, you must have been on social media because you made the post.
Oh, yes, you're right.
The guy out, and I told you to
Yeah,
take it down.
yeah. So I did a video in the car on the way back.
And how old are you?
I was, what was I, like 13?
You're 13 years
I was about
old.
13. It was going to be my first like actual on-stage
Your dad's
show.
definitely hyping you up.
Yeah. No.
He's definitely next to you. He's definitely next to you. You guys are in the car. You guys get.
No, I did this all by myself.
He was calm.
I did a video
All right.
for Instagram, and I said, I came here to Headliners. The promoters threw me out. They didn't take care of my age beforehand. Thank you to everybody who came to see me. Make sure you bother those promoters for your tickets back. And to the promoters, fuck you and have a nice day at 13.
That's
And
it?
I posted. And he was like, bro, you got to take that down.
That's all.
You're
That's all he
13.
said.
He's like, you're
No,
13.
fuck you. I mean, he was 13. And he was the first time he cursed, I think.
first time he
Well, it's a good. I think it's a good teaching opportunity to know when it's appropriate to tell someone to go fuck themselves.
At first, he was on board. Yeah, you never know. I try to never
True.
burn a bridge.
You know what? Very wise. Very wise.
It's true though, because you don't know where someone's gonna be or who they're gonna tell.
That had to have helped your drive
But
though.
that came
that
full
whole
circle.
I'll be back around.
Yeah, that came full circle too because, I mean, about a year later, Vanilla Ice brought me out to perform when he was headlining at Radio City for the freestyle concert.
Really?
And
You're kidding me.
yeah,
That's
I don't-
really fucking
I
cool.
think maybe George Lamont might have
Anthony knows
performed.
Vanilla Ice.
Yeah, exactly. See what I mean?
But
That's
you
what I
know what? That was like a full circle moment where, like, yeah, I might have got thrown out of this like little low budget like couple freestyle artists performing, but
A year later.
now a year later, look where I'm at. And
Wow.
TKA, my guy K7. The funniest part about that day was
They're the best, by the
yeah,
way.
they're awesome.
They're
my
the best.
favorite out of everybody from
Shout out
freestyle.
TK.
I'm a
Shout out
big-
Brian Rosenberg.
I'm a big freestyle fan too. Obviously, you know what I mean.
That's a great problem to have.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
But the funniest thing is my mom is like the biggest TKA fan that there is. And me and Vanilla Ice were done rehearsing and they were coming out to rehearse. So we're there and they're like, yo, what's up, Lil Dee? And I was like, yo, I have to FaceTime my mom. I had the phone like this with all of them behind me. Called my mom twice, no answer. You know how it is.
Yeah.
Right? And then we're back in the dressing room and she calls, she goes, hey, sorry. I was like, I don't even know what she was doing, cleaning the house for the 30th time. She was like, what happened? I go, I just had TKA, every member of TKA in the phone
Yeah.
waiting to say hello to you and thank you for your support. And you did not pick up the phone. And I was like, damn it.
That
you
sounds
know?
like the most mom thing ever.
Yeah,
I don't know
that's-
why moms always do that. Like
Always.
they
always and
they call
forever.
you off the hook.
Yeah.
But then when you like really need to speak to them about something,
Oh my
Yeah.
God. When she can't get in touch with
Yeah.
me, it's
Listen, that's I'm sorry, but that's the life of the queen. It's rules for thee and not for
you
me.
know how Italian mothers are. Like,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
so funny. I'll book an event and I'll go and tell her, listen, I have an event on this day. And she'll be like, I knew nothing about this.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, well,
100%.
me neither until 5 minutes ago. You're the first person that knows.
Yeah,
What
right.
more do you want? You want me to put you on the phone with the person? It's you know how it is, but it's funny. That's funny.
So being in the younger crowd, because you are 20 and you have so much influence from the 90s and the 2000s, you also grew up in the era of the 2010s
Yeah.
boom of the mumble rap, and you have a lot of the artists that actually were pretty good. Who would you say would be your top favorites from the 2010s and the 2020s?
I'm gonna exclude because I know exactly what you're asking me. So I'm gonna exclude Drake, Kendrick, J. Cole, Joyner, and Logic from this conversation because
'Cause they have,
even
like-
though they are from the 2010s, I feel like they all fit more in the category of the rappers that came before them.
Yeah.
A lot of things that people are surprised about me is even though I'm all about, the boom bap hip hop and keeping the essence alive, there are a lot of rappers, or I mean, I guess you can call them rappers. I kind of think of it as a completely different genre of like melodic rap. Like I always liked Juice WRLD. I thought Juice WRLD was really cool. I liked Polo G in his prime and A Boogie and Lil TJ. I was a fan of those
A
guys.
Boogie.
Of the style that kind of got birthed
Yeah.
from like 2015 on. I mean, I got to give it to A Boogie, Juice WRLD, Polo G. Pop Smoke I liked. I
Love
feel like
Pop
he did
Smoke.
I think he did drill
did it-
better than everybody else
Yeah.
did drill.
Wait.
Yeah, for real. I mean, listen, he was gone way too soon. I thought a lot of his music was really cool. I thought that the
I
way
had a crazy
he did,
story about that.
Yeah, he did drill a lot different. There's also another drill rapper I always liked named Busy Banks. He's not as big as Pop Smoke and Fabio Foreign or whatever, but I feel like he actually had bars when he was rapping. Same thing with my guy 22Gs. He was good. I feel like everybody in that genre kind of from 2018 to 2020, I feel like those guys really I got past the whole I was never a big Lil Yachty guy or Kodak Black. I was never
Those are part
I'm
of
with you.
I wasn't
Yeah.
I wasn't a fan of them. I feel like those guys like Polo G and Lil TJ and Pop Smoke and 22Gs, Busy Banks, all of them, I think they figured it out and they had a really nice pocket that I was able to listen to not just at a party. Like
Yeah.
I actually enjoyed the musicality
Yachty
of it.
was your
And I
frat
think we've
party
gotten
party.
no, I think we've gotten far away from that even now too, because I can't really tell you a rapper that came out in the last. No, yeah, I don't. I mean, I'm not like I don't listen to Ice Spice. You know what I mean? I don't listen to Yeet. Yeet. I don't listen to.
What about any like the Houston rappers?
I don't
the
like.
the rappers from down south that are coming out.
You said yeast?
No, Yeet.
Yeet.
Messing with you.
YEAT.
I know.
No one has as big of a stretch as the guys from back in the day do.
Yeah, no.
You know?
There's no longevity.
Yeah.
Like a lot of
No.
these people.
Lil Wayne was like 07 until
Turnover's crazy.
Exactly. That's the big thing. And the thing that's sad is the people that I think would have had longevity, like
They
Pop
die.
Smoke and Juice World,
Yep.
and even what's his name, XXX Tentacion,
Yeah.
who did a lot more than I gave him credit for when he first came out. He did everything. I mean, that guy could really rap. He held his own on a song with Joey Badass.
Yeah.
He held his own on a song, like songs that, like Capital Steez and all these guys
Yeah, man.
were, a part of. And he also had a very nice singing voice. He made, I don't know if you could really classify it as pop music, but it was definitely a lot of different. He was more of an artist, and I didn't really give him credit for that.
him and Trippie Redd.
But yeah, I think X would have lasted very long. I think Juice would have lasted long. I think Pop Smoke would have lasted long. And the rest of them, I mean, if you go in the comments of these rap pages, people are hating Lil TJ and Polo G for doing the same style that they used to do in 2020. But it's like, this was the style that you guys fell in love with. Just
Right.
because you guys are sick of it doesn't mean that you should be shitting all over them. I've been saying that it wasn't going to withstand the test of time, but that doesn't mean that they didn't do what they did when they were doing it. So I think that the problem is everybody's on TikTok. Everybody's looking for the next thing. Everybody gets sick of artists very quick because the talent in a lot of people, the way that it used to be, isn't necessarily there. People aren't telling stories like me and people from my era, I guess, are telling stories. People aren't making relatable music. Everything is about, I'm taking this drug, I'm shooting this person, I'm at this party with this girl in this car. And it's fun, and then it's not.
Yeah, man.
So
You have something that all those guys were missing.
yeah.
A couple of things. One, you're an old soul. I think you're an old soul
Definitely.
because you're around your family a lot. And that's number two, is you have a great support system. You got your family, you got your people that believe in you. And you're not just doing this, you're not just going to pop off because you're going to show everyone that you're the greatest.
Yeah.
You're going to pop off because those are the people that you're looking to be able to look to you
Yeah.
and be proud.
I don't think I've ever seen you kind of without your dad.
Yeah, I
You know,
mean, he's
like your biggest supporter. I love that.
he's always showing love. When I was younger, like as you said, a 13-year-old shouldn't have an Instagram. He's operating by himself, whatever. Like I didn't want to be talking business with these people as a 13-year-old, so he would handle.
You should never be talking business, period. You're too
Yeah.
good for that. Honestly, don't let anyone beat you up.
No, you're
Because
right.
you're
But you know
outstanding.
what? Now that I'm older, I pretty much I handle everything myself. He'll always come to a show to support me. I appreciate his ear in the studio because unlike a lot of people, I can't bring my friends to the studio because my friends either don't resonate with the type of hip hop that I grew up on where they'll know what to listen for, or they'll just tell me, yeah, that's good. Like I have a friend, Mario Bosco, right? I wrote the theme song for Mario Bosco's show,
Yeah.
and to play a joke on the kid to prove to myself that he would say anything that I did was fire. We were in the car and I put the Mario Bosco theme song, not of him doing it, me doing it in a high pitched voice.
Yeah.
And I played it for him in the car.
demo.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
demo. And I said, this is my new single. I think this is going to be my biggest song yet. And the kid's bopping his head and he's like,
The kid.
this is awesome. This is the next big thing.
This is
And I'm
forever.
like-
my God.
I'm like, bro, you're never coming to the studio.
Does that lend itself to that underdog frustration? Like I know I'm good. I'm objectively good. I hear people tell me, and people in the right places
Yeah.
tell me that I'm good.
Yeah.
And here's this guy, and this is my public. This is who I got to sell to now. And
Yeah.
does that lend itself to that frustration?
It's definitely an unfortunate thing. I feel like my definition of quality music and all the other people my age's definition of quality music is so different. Like, I grew up on the best of the best. Nobody's ever going to be better than, not even me. I don't think that anybody will ever be better than the founding fathers of this rap shit. There will never be another Michael Jackson again. There will never be another.
There'll never be another Frank Sinatra.
Yeah, there'll never be another Frank Sinatra.
Prince.
There'll never be another Tupac.
Are you Prince?
That's what I was gonna ask you. Was I noticed you didn't mention Tupac yet?
I love Tupac.
That's another one that
I feel
Anthony
like, you
knows.
know what? I always forget to mention Tupac, but I don't really forget. Tupac, like Eminem, didn't necessarily influence the way that I rap, but they influenced my love on hip hop. I would not love hip hop as much as I do
You're
without
heavy
Tupac.
East Coast. He was-
Yeah, but you know what?
But-
That was never a thing.
Stylistically, as far as the whole, Tupac really paints a picture. He really.
Yeah, the big thing I always say is I think that out of like Biggie and Tupac, Biggie was the best rapper out of the two, but Tupac was the most revolutionary rapper that there ever was and
Biggie was
there ever will
Biggie
be.
was technical.
The influence that Tupac had on hip hop. You can go around the United States and most people will say Biggie, but you can go around the world and the people will say Tupac.
Danny James, been an honor, been a pleasure.
Yeah.
I really do believe that you're the next big name in New York hip hop.
I appreciate that. I hope so. I'm working hard and let's get there,
You've inspired me to get into rap more.
Yeah, I'm gonna send you my playlist after this.